What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the OWTSIDA Podcast, where we host a podcast outside, right in the middle of the neighborhood of whoever it is we hosted. So today, we are hosting an entrepreneur. This is an entrepreneur episode. We got Carlos, a.k.a. Mr. Robbins, on the station today. Thank you for joining us. How you feeling,
what
bro?
Up? I feel good, man. I'm glad to be here. It's a beautiful morning. It's a little cold outside, but it feels great. Los Angeles, better place to be.
All right, so we're going to jump straight into it. I got a few questions for you, bro, just as an entrepreneur. First, where did you grow up, bro? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up here, Los Angeles, South Central California. Grew up in Watts, right here, Crenshaw and Slauson, all over Southwest. By Dorsey High School, I used to run around over there. So pretty much all of Los Angeles.
Okay. So Carlos, I'm gonna tell you guys where I met Carlos. He's actually a rugby player, football player, right? From View Park. Started at View Park, and then you went. You first started at what high school was that?
It was Lou Danzler, so it was like the sister school of View Park, but then they shut that down. So 10th grade, I went to View Park, and then I stayed there.
Like LA High, right?
Oh, LA High.
Yeah.
Oh, when I met you, I was at LA High. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can tell your side of the story
So
first.
yeah, you know LA High. Well, look. I don't want to get too much into the introduction. I just wanted to pretty much say, Carlos grew up here in this neighborhood. We're on Crenshaw and Slauson right now, and this is pretty much where we met. This is where our stumping grounds are. This is where a lot of stuff happened. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. We in front of the Nipsey Hussle mirror today. I want to talk about your project, man. You got a movie coming out. It's called Switching Souls.
Yeah.
Is that like the tennis shoe Switching Souls or what?
So the movie's called Trading Souls, and when you hear it, you'll think Trading Souls SOULS, but it's actually SOLES. So it's basically two teenagers. They from different backgrounds. One teenager is a black kid, comes from poverty, but he's at a school on an athletic scholarship. Another kid, kind of nerdy, smart kid, come from rich family, and so what happens is they get into this scuffle at school. They're disgruntled about, okay, you got this and I got that. So the counselor, her name is Miss Kajam. Miss Kajam spelled backwards is Miss Magic. So the counselor makes them switch shoes, and then after that they end up switching bodies for a whole week, and it's gonna be a good one. It's a comedy film. It's gonna be a generational film for sure.
Wow, that's crazy. So you went from playing football to being a director, and let's not forget, you a police officer right now, bro?
Yeah, I'm also a police officer, Los Angeles Police Department. So it's crazy
trying to balance
Los
Angeles
both of those.
Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Wow. So what made you do that move? What inspired you that?
The LAPD?
Yeah.
So for LAPD, for me, it was I know we all hear these stories. I'm a black man. I come from, Los Angeles. We all hear these stories about police officers. But for me, before I talk down on somebody, I want to see what it's about. So I started an internship with the LAPD. And when I got there, I realized that, these people are not too much different from us. They just want to go home to their family at the end of the day. And secondly, I lost two brothers to gun violence. And so for me, I wanted to kind of combat that. And I wanted to, bring hope to my city. So I felt like if young black kids saw me doing something better with my life, they might want to do something better with their lives.
Wow. So what really pushed you to go in that direction was losing your two brothers then.
Yeah.
And you know what? I just want to testify that he actually put out a film to honor his two lost brothers, and in the same motion, that same day there was like a bit of a gang altercation at the film festival, and I was there to witness because I pretty much I'm your boy. I'm trying to help you succeed, and so I just thought that was crazy. Like, you was doing something positive, and then to get that negative reaction, and then to go into the police field, and to not retaliate as becoming another gang member or becoming another victim to society. I think that's real powerful, bro. Like I was thinking about this podcast the other night. I'm like, man, what's one word I could use to describe Carlos, and that's resilience.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
That's resilience, bro. That's really what that is. So, I mean, hey, if I had an audience, I would have them clap it up to you right now, because I think that's a dope move. So, what's one challenge that you dealing with right now? And how old are you?
Well, I'm only 22 right now. I'll be 23 in June, so I'm just getting started, basically.
Okay. So what's one challenge that you're dealing with right now?
I would say one challenge that I'm dealing with right now is just getting the money together. Cause when you starting a business, it's tough trying to get the money and then like trying to balance the time with having the money and trying to hire people and get other things done. Especially with me having a whole nother career outside of me being an entrepreneur. Most things is either time or money. Those two things are the most important things that are challenges to me right now.
Okay. So I think you kind of like fit in the same description as most people. Is we got the vision, we got the dream, but the money is not really too accessible. So I'm assuming you got a plan and everything to make that happen.
For sure.
So then the next question I got for you, and I'm pretty sure everybody would like to know, is why do you do what you do?
So for me, I do what I do. Well, with my company, our main goal is to just be the happiest place in the world. Known as the happiest place in the world by millions of people. So I'm also doing a toy drive right now. The movie I'm pulling out is going to be full of laughter and full of love. The people we meet during our movie, during our screenings and things like that, it's always full of love and full of laughter. So what I do basically because I want to see my nephews. I want to provide a better life for my nephews. I want to stop. My dad also lost his brother to gun violence, so I lost two brothers to gun violence. I don't want my nephews to end up dying to gun violence. If that happens, then I'm gonna feel like I did something wrong. So I do what I do because I don't want my nephews to grow up, in the same circumstances that we grew up in, and not even just my nephews. A lot of kids around the city. I just want to help and be a positive change and role model to a lot of the kids around the city.
Wow. Okay. So your why has a lot to do with the children, then. Yeah. I feel you, bro. I honestly, for myself. The reason why I didn't do drugs and get into gang violence when I was younger was because I was going through a tough time with, pretty much the fruit of what comes from gang culture. And, seeing my brother get lost into it and sucked into it and just seeing what it was doing to our family as a whole. As a child, I made the conscious decision, like, I don't want my children to go through what I'm going through right now. So when the time came of me being tested and me being tempted and me being offered to get into that movement, what kept me from doing it wasn't really so much I was headstrong, but it was because I want my children to go through this, I want to see my children doing this. And that's honestly what kept me from doing drugs, kept me from getting tattoos. It kept me from just, doing all those things. And, it's crazy to say, like, my children have saved my life many a times, they not even born yet. But that's my why, that's my why is it's for my unborn children. And I would sit in my room for a long time thinking, like, I think it's our purpose, it's our duty in life to, like, do things in regards to the next generation behind us. Like, I'm always thinking, like, man, all right, what I'm going to do when my children get here? What I'm going to do before they get here? I be having imaginary conversations. Like, I'll be driving in my car and I'll be thinking, like, what kind of wisdom could I be telling my children right now? Like, I'm always thinking about that kind of stuff. So I live for my children today, and I don't even have them.
Yeah, I want to touch on that a little bit. I know maybe back since I was like 15, maybe I would be like, everything I'm doing now is for my kids. So I still don't have kids yet. I'm only 22. Maybe by the time I'm 25, I might have my first kid, hopefully. But, for me, it was the same thing. It's like, the things I'm doing now, I'm setting up my kids for the future. So when my kids are here, I won't have to struggle for them. They won't have to struggle. And, I want them to go through not some of the similar things that I went through because it bred real trauma. But I want them to go through things, so that they could be stronger people. But just I feel like there's some things that we went through that kids shouldn't have gone through. Like, I shouldn't have to go through losing two brothers. My sister shouldn't have to go through that. Right. It's just a lot of stuff that is, it breeds trauma and it breeds anger. And to touch on something else you said, I know that you were with me, like, on some dark times. Like, for me, it was like drugs was never like a big thing. I do have two tattoos of my two brothers, and then but like there's like a revenge mindset that you were with me in those dark times where it's like, oh, I want revenge so bad, but I just stayed positive. I remember that one night after that thing took place. My nephew Major, my late brother's son, I was like, where's Major? I just want to be with Major right now. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when you have kids around you, those kids are innocent, and so I look at Major like my own son. You know what I mean? And hold on, there's an ambulance rolling by.
That's the LA streets for you, bro. That's every day you hear sirens. Every day, not one day the sirens don't pass by.
Probably gonna get a helicopter coming by in a couple minutes, but I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. You know what I mean? I think it's really important that we do things, for our kids, and I mean, not to dwell into that too much, but even like to my friends that's raising kids right now, you got to be careful the way you're raising your kids, because that's going to affect us all. Like if I'm raising my kid right and you raising your kid wrong, or if I'm raising my kid wrong and you raising your kid right, what my kid does to your kid is going to affect all of us. So I feel like it should be a community thing, and I'm not just going to be there for my kids either. If your kid needs something, I'm going to be there for you. That's why I'm doing this toy drive. I don't have a kid, but I'm gonna do this toy drive for 100 kids, 100 plus kids if I can, and just try to let them feel love as well.
Right. So tell us a little bit about the toy drive. Like, when is it happening? Where is it happening? How can we support that?
Okay. So basically, the toy drive is let's see, how did we get started with this? So since I was a little kid, I used to like give away old toys to like younger cousins and just other kids that I knew that didn't have a lot. And so when I was getting older, I said, you know what, I just want to be able to like ride around one Christmas and just be able to give away toys. So it's funny that I'm seeing this coming to fruition.
Yeah.
But basically 3 months ago, the police division that I work in, we have a foster home, but it's for teenagers. And so
I was in that foster care unit.
Yeah. So I was talking to one of the kids. Her name is Little D, and that was her name. And I said, that can't be her real name. And it was like, well, she's only been here for a month, and so that's what we call her. To this day, I don't know if that's her real name, but for me, that touched my heart just to know that, there's a kid going around and everybody only knows her as Little D. And so the next time I went to this foster care unit, I was able to meet her, and I was like, hey, it's Little D here, because I remembered the name. And it was like, yeah, she's right there. And I walked around the corner, and there was this, sad teenage girl, maybe 14 years old, I believe, or 13. And I knew she was sad immediately, but she wasn't crying. I was like, hey, what's wrong? And she was like, oh, I'm sad because I don't get to talk to my sister. And obviously she don't get to talk to her sister because she's in foster care. And I said, well, what's wrong with your sister? And she said that her sister has cancer and she hasn't had to talk to her in a couple years. And I just let her know, it is tough. I told her I lost 2 brothers, and that's tough. But I was still trying to be there for her. So that really sparked me wanting to really try to get in that foster care unit and try to
that just took me back, because when what happened to me, they was trying to take me away from my mom, and so I was going back and forth through foster care for a long time, bro. And I remember thinking, like, there's so many children who are going through like just crazy stuff, and they don't got nobody to lean on, So I think that's real, I think that's real dope. So, bro, whatever it is you're doing, put in 50 for me, as far as donation to the toys, bro. You got 50 for me, bro. I support that.
Appreciate it.
For real. And I'm sure. Look, where can we support you, bro? Like,
okay, so my Instagram is OMO Promotions, and if you go on there, if you go on there, you click on the link, it'll take you to a website. It's OMO Enterprises, if I'm not mistaken. And the website, you click basically you click the taskbar, and you can go to the toy drive. And the way you can donate is there's an Amazon registry. And then also, if you live in Los Angeles, my Instagram is Father Carlos _ so you can hit me up. If you got a toy at your house, I'll go pick it up. Or we can do a drop-off location where you can just drop a toy off to me. So those are all the different ways. We also have a Cash App. If you want to just donate cash, we can do that. So, tap in with me. The Instagram is OMO Promotions, and then the my personal Instagram is Father Carlos _
Okay, so we'll make sure to get all your links and everything going in the screen. Bro, I just want to say thank you for not being what the world wants you to be. You know what I'm saying? I want to say thank you for looking within and not searching without. Because honestly, it's too many of us that are lost. And even now, like we are across the street from a liquor store, and you got grown men just hanging out. And I mean, there ain't no problem with that, but it's like what have they been through to where they feel comfortable to be hanging out at the liquor store every day? So the world is going through a lot, and we need more people that are like looking to help somebody else. That's one thing I learned dealing with God, is that everything God has told me to do, has led me to do, it's always been to do something for somebody else. Not one time have I went through the phase of like, all right, I want to really try and be obedient to God and really listen to that spirit, and did something like to benefit myself. Like, it's been so like even that day when you guys came over, bro, I spent like my whole paycheck just to make that happen.
Oh, for that was some good food.
And I'm working in Hell's Kitchen, so it's like the money's not even worth it. The time, like, so God is really about helping other people, and it's a scripture in the Bible that says, Father, like, what's the greatest commandment of all time? And Jesus says, oh, it's to love God with all your heart, But equally important, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. So I think that you're accomplishing one of the greatest commandments in the Bible, and you don't even know it. You know what I'm saying?
Thank
so
you, man. Appreciate
just keep doing what you're doing, bro. I mean, any type of way, bro. I'm trying to help you. You know what I'm saying? Because I know helping you helps me.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like whatever you do, I know that it's going to impact,
Yep.
in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think about Carlos, it's like, man, if I can help Carlos, if I'm going through town and Carlos got something going on, I'm going to help him. I'm going to give him my hands, my knowledge, and everything, because I know that that's helping me get somewhere.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I know that I'm going to get a ROI, a return on my investment. I just know that in my heart.
Yeah.
So, anything that I could do to help you, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you the first person on this podcast, you know what I'm saying? I could have chose anybody. I was like, nah, let me get the homie Carlos,
Appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So, thank you for tuning in. Police officer, director, football player. I mean, bro, you got a lot of accomplishments. You know what I'm saying? You about to get a deal with Netflix. Tell us about that before we.
Before we wrap it up. So the movie that we're doing, we're either gonna try to get it on Netflix or BET. For me, either one is fine. I would go for BET because it's Black Entertainment Network and a TV. So I want to go with BET, but Netflix as well. So either one, come our way and stay tuned.
Yeah. Well, shoot, man. I wish you the best of luck on that Netflix deal. Other than that, I mean, you guys know what it is. This is the podcast OWTSIDA Podcast. I mean, if you guys don't know what this is, I mean, obviously I want you guys to subscribe, stay tuned, because I'm coming to your city, to your town, and I'll probably do a podcast outside of your front door. So, I think that's it. I mean, man, I feel like we talked about so much.
Yep.
I think we got a lot about. We don't even need an hour. I'm like, man, we're gonna take about an hour. We don't even need an hour. We touched up on a whole lot. So thank you for coming out.
But wait.
Yeah.
So a question for you: What made you want to start this outside podcast?
Man, bro, that's a good story. That's a good question. So in 2019 or 2018. I started a podcast, and it was called like spiritual something, where I was just going into conversations like, what is God? Who is God? Where is God? Just really like getting all this spiritual download, trying to figure out the spirit realm, if there is one. And at that time, bro, I was walking with the devil. I was doing cannabis, and just in that area, in that space, my mind wasn't where it needed to be. And so the podcast I started, I stopped, and I like kind of destroyed the microphone in my room. So I'm like, this isn't doing nothing, we're not getting anywhere with this. And so after I did this whole transformation and giving my life to God kind of like gave this back to me, and now it's like in full effect. Like before, bro, I just had like a little microphone from the 99-cent store. I paid like maybe $10 for it. And I had it strapped to a pole, and I would tie it to a table in the library, and I'd be doing a podcast. And I would get like maybe 50, 60 downloads in one day. So it was working. But this time around, I just came back from Africa, and the guy that I met, he wanted to open up a studio. So we found a studio. It's in Ghana. It's in Africa. And he was like, let's do an online radio podcast. I'm like, all right, I got to go. When I go to LA, I'm going to buy the equipment, and I'm going to come back. So when I came here, I bought the equipment, and I'm like, well, since I got it, I might as well use it.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
So that's what this is. And then I was like, I don't want to have people come in my room, or like I'm not trying to really buy a studio or anything like that. Like, it's just too expensive. I can't afford it. It's not worth it. So I'm gonna just do my podcast outside.
I feel it.
Like, who don't want to play a PS4 outside if it was safe? You know what I'm saying? Like, then you can have all your friends come through and everything like that. So I was like, let me just go against the grain and do my podcast outside. And then I went to the art store, and I'm like, all right, outside podcast. I'm like, nah, that's too simple. I want to spell it wrong. OWTSIDA Podcast. So it's still outside. It's just OWTSIDA Podcast. So it's like OWTSIDA Podcast. It's not a podcast because it's not inside. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's unique. It's unique. It's different. So obviously, bro, honestly, I'm going to be traveling the world doing this. Like, one day I'm going to be in the middle of the street of Japan doing a podcast. And then even in Africa, like, I'll be in the middle of the street in Africa doing a podcast. And the whole setup and everything, the looks and everything will be much better after a time. But this is a start, you know what I'm saying? On Crenshaw and Slauson. This is like, I was like, man, I'm going to be the first person to do this. I just wanted to do it so bad. So, yeah, That's really what this is.
All right.
Yeah. So thank you guys for tuning in to OWTSIDA Podcast, where we host a podcast outside in your neighborhood. The world is our platform. So if you guys wanna come to the show and be a host or be a guest, go ahead, check out my website. I mean, I got all those doors open and opportunities open for people that want to get involved. I'm not gonna have time to do this, but once a week. So if you know what I'm saying, if you know somebody that want to be a host of a podcast, let me know. With talk business. So thank you guys again for tuning in. Thank you, Carlos, for coming through and for doing what you're doing.
Thanks for having me, man.
And this is episode Los Angeles Entrepreneurs. So that's what you are today. You're a Los Angeles entrepreneur, bro. So rep that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right. So we'll see you guys later. Peace.
All right.